Hello everybody, I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. Welcome back to another video. As you can tell, my voice is very raspy. It doesn't hurt to talk, it's just a little bit annoying. Hopefully it's not too bad for you guys. Hopefully you can understand me quite well. But this is not significant. I'm not really sick. I guess I have a little cold, so if you will. When I usually have a cold, I don't call myself sick. It's just a little bit of a runny nose, and I got a little bit of a sore throat. But it's nothing serious. But I'm going to try making it through this video, probably in several increments, as my voice will start disappearing towards the end. And I'll speak a little bit slower, which is a win-win, as you guys want me to speak slower. So today we're going to be talking about the uncommon December pattern that will be occurring across the country, and this will really be bringing lots and lots of precipitation. Not so much precipitation, but a very warm air, I meant to say, across the latter portion of December across most of the United States. Now, I know this is not what you want to hear, guys. I know. I don't like it either. And I was actually incorrect. If you recall, I predicted a cold and snowy December. I was fairly on spot across the first 15 days of December. It's been relatively chilly, and the snowpack across the United States is twice as much as last year's snowpack at this time of the year, so that's something. But the ending will be similar to last year's December. It will be rather warm, unseasonably warm, ridiculous warmth. How long it's gonna last, it's tough to say. We don't really know how long it's gonna last. But as of now, it looks to last at least a couple of weeks. So yes, I'm going to admit it. I was definitely wrong about that forecast. People say I don't like to admit when I'm wrong. I admit anytime I'm wrong. I was wrong, and I do apologize. I'm going to let you guys down. There's been times where I've been right, and I think I'll do a video at the end of the year about the times that I've been right and wrong. Kind of like my meteorological successes and failures. So if you want me to do that, let me know. But looking at the pattern right now, let's just look at the 2-meter temperature anomalies. I'll show you the PWAT, which is basically the total precipitable water in the atmosphere. But first, I want to show you the 2-meter temperature anomalies, how this is going to be, how this is going to be occurring, and some of these are just really impressive. So, a little bit of chill actually still across the northeastern U.S. and eastern U.S. across up until the 20th. But then things really just start going warm. So notice we get a warm section across the plains. We get a little bit of break from the weather. No big storm to bring in some chillier air, so just the sun heats it up. At this time of the year, again, we're getting towards the coldest and the shortest days of the year. The day is going to be the shortest on December 21st. After that, it starts getting longer, so that's something to look forward to. If you by March 21st, we're already the equivalent of September 21st. So the daytime length. So it's not that bad, guys. We're definitely on our way. We're on our way towards the coldest part of the winter. But in a couple of days, we'll be already looking at slightly longer days. If you want to look at that portion, though, it doesn't really get longer until I would say after the New Year's, significantly. And even though it may not be noticeable because of the cold, but look, we get a very nice warm-up across the good portion of the country, the mountains, the east, the west, the central. I mean, this is just going to be an all-continental United States warm-up. And notice how around the 21st, this Saturday, December 21st, we get a big, it's warm about everywhere you go, excluding the East Coast, which would be actually a little bit chilly, the coastal areas, and maybe parts of the Gulf Coast. Notice the rest of the United States is just baking in heat. Notice we're looking at heat and obviously parentheses or in quotation marks, as that's really isn't heat. But for December, it sure will be unusually warm. Look at that. We could be looking at 12 to 16 degrees Celsius above average, so possibly up to 20 to 30 degrees above average. Some 50s and 60s may be possible towards the south. Notice how the core stays right across here. The west starts getting in on some chillier air. The United States just stays, or the eastern and central United States just stays ridiculously warm. Look at December 27th. That is just almost a record possibly right there. Very warm. That moves on. We don't get much break from the cold or from the warmth. We continue seeing warm break. You can see there's another one around January 1st time frame, and another one right there. So the GFS and European, unfortunately, are not showing any signs of a cool down. Again, I'm gonna get people in the comment sections are just gonna be mad at me why they're placed in North Carolina or Tennessee or Arkansas or Southern Oklahoma hasn't seen snow, and how they're really mad and disappointed. Well, let me tell you, usually those locations don't see snow in December or November, especially towards the south. And if you remember seeing snow in November of, say, 1977 or an obscure year, people mention, that's a rarity. And usually the coldest and snowiest time of the year is January and February. And this year it looks to be overlapping with the coldest anomalies around those time frames. So I'll be releasing a video soon talking about why those locations will be very cold and very snowy. Just generally the U.S. will be. Notice up until then, though, very warm temperatures. That's a good 2-meter temperature shaded. Very warm temperatures. We're looking at, again, warm for December standards, but it's going to be really in the 30s, 40s, and 50s if you're really, really lucky. So notice this is that time frame of that extreme warmth right here. We could get up to 53, what is that? Yeah, maybe upper 40s across southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois. And this, if you were to look at the anomaly, looks like a heat wave, but again, in reality, it's pretty darn chilly. It's just that it's warmer for December standards. And if we were to look at this further, notice there's definitely going to be days are going to be in below freezing, but it's still going to be generally above average. As you can see across the country, it doesn't really get into the south at all. We look at 60s and 50s for the southern U.S. pretty consistently. Towards the end, maybe a little bit of a cool off, we'll have to see. But as of now, it doesn't look like any Arctic invasion is coming. Notice this, apologies about the clock also, it's going off, and nothing I can do about it. But notice that parts in the South Florida could get into the 70s and 80s in parts of these warmer conditions, so that would be a nice change for those locations. Notice there's still plenty of cold air, so potential for snow is still there. If you look at the total snowfall, it's nothing significant really. They're showing a little bit of ice and snow here. Ignore that. That's really just ice that could fall. And the models are showing that as snow. Let me get a drink of water here. Notice, though, across the west, we really see the snowfall amounts at some pretty good levels, especially across British Columbia. Look at that. Those are ridiculous amounts, up to, what is that? That's like 100 inches right there, that white. So that's impressive, and that's what they'll need. Otherwise, though, pretty miserable in terms of the snow across the northern U.S. It would be just a below average, really, realistically speaking. There won't be any really precip in terms of rain even. I mean, there will be some storms to the south. You can see across Florida across the Christmas time. The U.S. seems to be very dry, very calm at this point. Again, this could still change. I mean, yesterday they were showing big storms for this time frame. But as of now, it seems like there won't be any big storms in terms of rain. And, if there were a big storm, there probably would be some snow somewhere in the U.S. as it's December. It's cold enough, despite there being a December heat wave. It's just that there won't be much precip in the first place. So when we see we see a storm right here. You can see pass through around a little after Christmas across the northern plains. A little bit of snow associated with that, not a big storm. Then we see a good dose of rain out of this system, which would produce a little bit of snow on the northern side of it. But this one just is a good rainmaker. Has a little bit of ice and snow across these locations. That's probably not. That's just a glitch. But no real snow occurrences. And if you were to look at the ensemble members of the GFS, what they think about the 384 hours in terms of the 2-meter temperature anomalies, they're showing some chill. So, maybe the GFS is out of sync. But then you may be thinking, oh, maybe the GFS ensembles are the ones that are out of sync. It's tough to say. As of now, I would say it's going to last for a good 10 days, the warmth, which, that's how it will be like. But if you look at, say, the European, the EPS ensembles, which only go out to 240, they're still showing heat at the 240 or above average across that time frame. Again, not as significant as a heat wave across Christmas time and New Year's Eve, but relatively still warm, and it seems not to be really going away anytime soon. I'm sure the cold air would come back, obviously in the early portion of January or mid portion at the very latest. Doesn't seem like this will be sustained for too long, as we've had a very progressive pattern, and that's due to the warm Pacific blob. If we were to look at the anomalies across Alaska, in terms of the temperature anomalies, notice how there's big heat across. Let's get a better view of this. There's big heat across Alaska right there, and if you were to look at the sea surface temperatures, it's above average right there, and that's causing, whenever there's like a wind blowing across it, and this could lead to troughing later on in the winter. We could get big dips and Arctic air masses attacking the eastern U.S., or we could be looking at warmer air across the U.S. if this gets blown across just the Pacific air, and that's why there will be lots of contrast. It will either be very cold air or very warm air because of this warm air blob. So that's one thing I kind of failed to indicate in my winter outlook. But again, I kind of in November, December, or in August, September, I called for a warm December, despite I guess there were last frequent call in December, early December. I was like, maybe this will be a cold December, based on the models, but you can never trust the models to that extent, as they failed me, and they were showing no significant cold now as they were before. So again, I should have just stuck with my original forecast that I did in September, which called for a warm December, which look, right now, it's coming together, but I guarantee you January, February, and March are going to be cold, on the colder side for the eastern northern U.S., and I'm basically 100% confident in that. Basically not as confident as I've never been before, and now since this warm air has occurred. So again, I guess it's a win for, or a loss for a win, as this warm air basically just solidifies the fact that we will be looking at a brutal latter 3 months of winter. Whether you like it or not, I know many people would like to see snow and cold across the Christmas time, and that's it. Doesn't look like that. It looks as if January, February, and March are just looking brutal. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.